Okay, so in this video we are going to talk about the change in surpluses in a perfectly competitive market and a monopolistic market. So I went ahead and did the entire perfect competition side before I started recording just because I feel like it's review and that we've gone over it a bunch and that it should be kind of matter of fact at this point. So demand is just price is equal to 100 minus quantity, and then supply is that price is equal to 10 plus quantity. If you graph those and set demand equal to supply, you get that quantity is equal to 45 and that price is equal to $55. And then if you calculate the area of these triangles, again just that consumer surplus is the area below demand and above price, you get that consumer surplus is $1,012.50. And you get that producer surplus is exactly the same, but it is this lower triangle down here, which is from 55 to 10 over to point A, and it is the exact same amount. So you get that total surplus is $2,025. So now if that's not clear, go back and feel free to do this on your own and check my answers and just kind of see how I got to them. And if it's not clear, there's also that other video on on consumer surplus and producer surplus and total surplus in perfect competition to go back to. So now we're going to go ahead and hop on to the monopoly case. So the first thing is that monopolists don't produce where supply is equal to demand. And if you're kind of rusty on that, also go back and check out the video on monopoly. But they produce not where supply is equal to demand, but where marginal revenue is equal to marginal cost. So marginal revenue is equal to marginal cost. But we don't have marginal revenue, nor do we have marginal cost here. So we're going to have to get a little creative and figure out how we can derive marginal revenue and marginal cost from our supply and demand curves that we're given. So the easiest thing is that supply is also equal to marginal cost, because supply is just marginal cost above average variable cost. So if supply is less than average variable cost, then the quantity supplied will be zero. So as long as the quantity supplied is positive, supply is above average variable, or marginal cost is above average variable cost, and it's equal to supply. So just remember, supply is equal to marginal cost in the monopoly case. So we already have marginal cost, we're good to go on that. Now we need to get marginal revenue. And remember, there's a long way and a short way to get marginal revenue from demand. The short way is you just double whatever the coefficient is right here. So that just says then that marginal revenue is going to be equal to 100 minus 2Q. And then the long way is to use calculus, and I'm going to go ahead and do it just because it makes more sense to me and to some other people, I think. So we have that demand is also average revenue. So to get total revenue, we need to multiply demand by quantity. So P times Q on the left-hand side is total revenue. And then on the right-hand side, we get 100Q minus Q squared. And then the derivative of total revenue with respect to quantity. So just the derivative of total revenue with respect to quantity. And then the derivative of the left side with respect to quantity. So it gives us that marginal revenue is equal to 100 minus 2Q. So either way, we get the same answer, 100 minus 2Q. So to go ahead and graph that now, we have that it's going to start at 100 and it's going to go to 50. So each one of these boxes is 5. So we have 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. And now I'm just going to see if I can draw a straight line there. So that's good enough, we'll take it. So this is our marginal revenue curve. And now we can figure out where marginal revenue is equal to marginal cost, which is going to be right here. So let's go ahead and figure out what that point actually is just by setting these two equal. And we'll grab a different color. So we're going to have 100 minus 2Q, which is marginal revenue, is equal to supply, or marginal cost, which is 10 plus Q. So if I add 2Q over, I get 3Q, and if I subtract 10 from 100, I get 90. So I get that Q is equal to 30. So this right here is 30. And then we know that the price that the monopolist charges is the value of the demand curve at the optimal quantity. So remember, you find the optimal quantity and then you go up to the demand curve and over, and that gives you your price. So I'm just going to plug 30 into the demand function. So we get that price is equal to 100 minus Q, which in this case is 30. So the price for the monopolist is 70. So now we have our optimum price and our optimum quantity, and we're just going to go ahead and calculate consumer and producer surplus just like we did, or just like I did in the perfect competition case before. So remember, consumer surplus is always the area above price and below demand. So it is this triangle right here. And in this case, we have that will be, the area of that triangle will be 100 minus 70. That's the height, times the base, which is 30, all over 2. So 100 minus 70 is 30, times 30 is 900, divided by 2 is 450. So consumer surplus, and I'll put an M up here for monopoly, is equal to $450. Now we're going to do the same thing for producer surplus, but we're going to see that the shape that we have to calculate the area of is a little bit different. So producer surplus is always the area below price and above supply. So we are going to be below price and then above supply. And so for me, this is always easier just to calculate as a square or a rectangle and a triangle. So we're going to find the area of this triangle, which will be, we have to figure out what price is right here. So price right here will go ahead and be the value of supply when quantity is equal to 30. You see that? So this right here, we'll call this X, will be supply when quantity is equal to 30. So if I plug 30 in here for Q, we get that price is equal to 40. So I'm just going to go ahead and erase this, and we'll put a 40 right here. $40. So now we have a triangle that has a base of 30, or actually a height of 30, excuse me. So this will be 30, just 40 minus 10, times 30 again, over 2. And that's just going to be 450, just like it was before. And then we also have this square, which is 70 minus 40. It has a side of 30 here, and then just to double check that it actually is a square, we also have 30 over here in quantity for the other side. So 30 times 30 is 900. And so the producer surplus, I'm going to go ahead and just kind of erase a couple of these things and write total big producer surplus. So producer surplus for the monopoly is 900 plus 450, which is just 1,350. So with that, I'm going to stop this video. The next video, we're going to talk about the difference in total surplus and kind of talk about why there is a difference in total surplus. And then we'll probably do one more video after that, which will go into just kind of some other quantities that you need to be able to calculate with these graphs.